What you're up to now is only gonna lead to disaster for you.
Then I'm gonna enjoy the ride on the way.
Proverbs 1:20 through 21, New Living Translation. Wisdom shouts in the streets. She cries out in the public square. She calls to the crowds along the main street, to those gathered in front of the city gate. Today, guys, we are in Tyler Perry's The Family That Prays. We are looking at Andrea's choice to remain unrepentant in her sins and unyielding to wisdom. Let's look at a particular statement that she made in which she refused to heed the voice of wisdom.
What you're up to now is only gonna lead to disaster for you.
She was warned that disaster was in store for her if she continued on that path. Nevertheless, she made up her mind that she would enjoy the ride on the way to that disaster.
Well, then I'm gonna enjoy the ride on the way.
Andrea, I think some of us can agree, is not a woman who doesn't understand things. We see from her facial expression here and thoughtful contemplation of her mother's words that she considered the gravity of the word disaster. That's not a word that any of us would normally use to describe a situation that wasn't going in our favor. Disaster isn't a word that we casually throw around. Andrea took a moment to consider that word, then decided that she could handle and live with the coming disaster, no matter what it meant. She would enjoy the ride on the way down, and she'd handle whatever consequences came her way. Proverbs 1:17 through 18, New Living Translation says the following. If a bird sees a trap being set, it knows to stay away. But these people set an ambush for themselves. They are trying to get themselves killed. The Message version says this. They're racing to a very bad end, hurrying to ruin everything they lay hands on. Nobody robs a bank with everyone watching, yet that's what these people are doing. They're doing themselves in. Andrea is setting herself up for pain. She is positioning setback and heartache in her own life. This is one of the things that I'm hoping you guys get from this video. Andrea is doing things that she'll have to forgive herself for. Our finite minds can never know all of the possible consequences of an action, and often the disaster that is awaiting us is far worse than what we're able to suspect. There is forgiveness, but forgiveness does not always mean restoration in the way that we may hope. It is wise to not allow ungodly seeds to take root, but if they do take root, we must take measures to uproot them and to walk away. The Lord gives us many chances to walk away, and He provides us with signs, but focusing more on our own desires rather than God's will allows us to simply shoo away the signs, for we are drawn away by our own desires. Let's take a look at just two of the signs that Andrea chose to not heed. William got his wife a better necklace than he got for Andrea.
That's a lovely necklace.
Not as lovely as yours.
She ignored that sign, brushed it off, while feeling the sting of rejection and of not being good enough for more. Andrea gave up lunch with Chris when he surprised her one afternoon. William, on the other hand, was not willing to give up lunch with his wife.
Just thought I'd stop by. Maybe take my hard-working husband to lunch.
These are moments that worked in Jillian's favor because Jillian chose to be observant and to not brush off the signs. But Andrea continued to brush off every sign and to remain in darkness and in unrepentance. Andrea said that she was going to enjoy the ride on the way to disaster, but the truth is she didn't enjoy it fully. Shame was along on the ride. Restraints and limits were along for the ride. Entitlement, pride, and the downcast face of a scolded little girl, a girl who wasn't receiving the approval of the man in her life, were along for the ride. Darkness was along for the ride, and an even greater darkness, an even greater unfortunate disaster were coming to her home. Wisdom, warnings, and signs are to our benefit. By yielding, there will be far fewer things that we'll have to forgive ourselves for. If we yield early enough, we can evade disaster. But guys, remember that Proverbs 123 still stands. Until heaven and earth pass away, Proverbs 123 will stand. It states, "Come and listen to my counsel. I'll share my heart with you and make you wise." Love you guys. God bless. Please comment and share your thoughts, and I'll speak with y'all soon.